Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Shalom to the elders of Great Millstone for preaching the word, truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word, truthfully and sincerely as well too. And I say shalom to the Akim out there. And this is a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out. As the title of this lesson is, Upon the Earth, the Disgressive Nations Were Perplexity, and the Seas and Waves Warring. And this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 25, and it reads to the Holy Scriptures. It says, and there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and upon the earth the disgressive nations were perplexity, and the seas and waves warring. Right, that's what we're seeing in our world today. You know, the increasing uprisings, uproars in the people of the world, and the seditions as well too. Over here in the Virgin Island of Babylon, you're going to continue to see that increase in the latter days, and around the world for a witness as well too. You know, because that prime example, you know, we seeing these increasing protests. What's going on over there in Serbia? You know, the Serbia communities, they having protests and stuff like that over there, and with the recent conflicts over there in Sudan and around the world for a prime example as well too. Just like with the Israel-Palestine situation, what's going on over there in the Russia-Ukraine situation. Hey, those are disgressive nations and uprisings and uproars in the people of the world, you know. And I'm going to bring out the second Ezra. So it's going to be a lot of increasing disgressive nations around the world as we continue to see these major events taking place in the world today. That leads into the biblical signs, because we are definitely in those times, you know. Second Ezra's 15. Salakia for 1 minute. Right, because we're going to see a lot of increasing sedition, you know, a sedition amongst these people within their own country, within their own nation, and outside of their nation as well too. It says, for there shall be sedition among men invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the force of their actions shall stand in their power. So we're going to continue to see that increasing in the latter days as well too. You know, that sedition spirit, you know, people, these nations and organizations and factors have towards one another. And then you're going to continue to see the increasing of these nations having this hostility against the leaders that's in power and stuff like that, you know. So, you know, we're definitely going to continue to see that increase in the latter days as well too. So I couldn't bring out the second Ezra because, you know, the connection is kind of messing up outside. But, you know, that's a prime example of, you know, as the one of Luke 21 and 25, you know, of the disgressive nations were perplexed. See if I can be able to bring it out. Because, you know, my internet connection is kind of messing up outside, you know. But as I bring it out, yeah, so like I mentioned again, that, you know, that's definitely going to be prime examples of this starting to increase in a lot of days, you know, of the sedition, the uprising, the uproars of the people in the world as well too, you know. Just like, especially so far this year, we've been seeing a lot of citizens going against their leaders that's in power and stuff like that, and they opposing certain laws or unrighteous decrees that might be signed into law these citizens have against their leaders, and they are uprising against their leaders. That's why you're seeing the continued increasing of these protests, you know, these protesters around the world, you know, clashing, especially with the recent protests over there in France, you know, because that protest lasted for a very long while, definitely when it comes to the pension reforms and stuff like that. And then with the recent one that happened over here, I would say over there in Virginia, I would say like a couple of weeks ago, you had the so-called, this Moabite, which was a so-called Chinese, and And he was targeting a democratic leader, and his members of his cabinet. He had a bat and he had attacked them and stuff like that. So, hey, those are prime examples that we are going to continue to see increase in the latter days. Especially with the anti-coup that happened over there at Myanmar, I'll say in 2021, and especially happened like a month ago. You had like this. I believe he was a top executive of the elections, because you have organization factors over there in Myanmar are against their leaders. And the leaders that are in power, they do anti-coups and anti-protests and uprisings and escalations. So, those are prime examples that we are going to witness and experience in the latter days. This is second Ezra chapter 15 verse 15. It says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people should stand up and fight against one another with swords in their hand. Right, that's what we are going to continue to see in the latter days. This is second Ezra 15 verse 16, and this is from the Apocrypha of the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, for there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. Right, we're going to see that as well too. And they shall not regard their kings nor their princes, which the political leaders, in their country, in their respectable country around the world. It says, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right, so we're going to continue to see that in a lot of days. Second Ezra 15 and verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city, and they shall not be able to. Prime example, just like I seen this article over there in Ukraine, you had this guard, because you have a lot of people have like undocumented papers and stuff like that. They trying to, flee the countries and stuff like that due to the Russia-Ukraine situation. And that country is under martial law and stuff like that. And it's kind of similar to what happened over there in Myanmar. I believe earlier in the year I did a sit-down lesson in regards to Myanmar is going to extend the martial law in that country as well too. So that's a prime example of a man should desire to go into a city they should not be able. Right, that's going to increase in a lot of days, And this is second Ezra chapter 15 verse 18. It says, because of their pride, and the city shall be troubled. Right, the city shall be troubled, and that's coming to a country and a city near you. This is what's going to occur in a lot of days. It says, and I'm going to read verse 17 again. It says, second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 17. A man shall desire into a city, and that shall not be able. Verse 18, second Ezra 15 and verse 18. Because of their pride, because the Heavenly Father, He doesn't like a pride person, because pride goes before destruction. It says the city shall be troubled. Right, the city shall be troubled around the world, and definitely only in the version out of Babylon is definitely going to hit here. That's a prime example. And man shall be afraid. Right, man shall be afraid in that day, when that day approaches. It says second Ezra 15 and verse 19 of the Apocrypha of the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Right, that's going to occur, just like Isaiah 19 and 2. Isaiah 19 and 2, I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian. That's going to happen in modern day times, And I'm reading again, second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, and shall destroy their houses with the sword, and their spoils and their goods, because of the lack of bread, for a great tribulation. Right, just like in Amos 8 and 11. It's going to be a famine of the word, for a lack of bread, for a lack of water, for a lack of resources. And that's what's coming on the planet Earth for a witness. Definitely only in the version out of Babylon as well too, So with that, this was just a quick lesson that I wanted to bring out up about Luke 21 and 25. Upon the earth, disgressive nations were perplexity, and the seas raged warm, So these are prime examples, like I just mentioned. And I brought out the scriptures in second Ezra as well too, from 15 all the way down to verse 18, right along with Luke 21 and 25. So this is going to occur in a lot of days, So with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying. I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Karkadash. Shalom to the elders of Great Millstone for Christian words, truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim scattered through the four corners of the globe, pushing word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And until next time, I will say shalom.